You give Charles Oliveira a battle, you just gave him the damn war. You give Islam Makhachev a battle. He wins a battle, the round's over. But Charles Oliveira, you give him a battle, night. He hasn't really been in a battle. When you're fighting Charles Oliveira, it's a little similar to fighting Petr Yan. You're in a battle. And if you can't survive, you're going to sink. I like Islam Makhachev. He's really talented. It worries me when people have as much faith as they do in him because he's not Khabib. And I think he's going to let a lot of people down. And I was talking to my friend the other day. He said, I really want Islam to win. I don't know, man. I mean, Charles Oliveira is so dangerous from everywhere. MMA, and I'm going to be telling you guys the one thing that the UFC doesn't want you to know. If no one's going to say it, I can. Okay, if no one's going to say it, I can. Islam, you fought a bunch of fucking cans. Islam, you fought a bunch of fucking cans. Okay? And Oliveira is the man. Okay, so he got knocked out by Adriano Martins. And he was taken down by Thiago Moises. And he was dropped by Davy Ramos. Okay. Whoa, dropped by Davy Ramos. Okay, so we know that he's not Khabib. Okay, so we know that he's not Khabib. All right, and he just fought Bobby Green, okay, who had a fight just the other week. Are we going to pretend he didn't have a fight the other week? And then he fought Dan Hooker, who's got the wrestling of a fucking bugger. All right, so if no one's going to say it, I can. Islam, you fought a bunch of fucking scams. Well, here is exactly what the UFC doesn't want you guys to know. The truth is, if it weren't for Khabib, Islam Makhachev would have not gotten this title shot. That is just the truth. And people are picking Islam Makhachev because they think he is the next successor of Khabib. And they're counting on a version of Islam Makhachev that we have never seen before, that the world has never seen before. Now, granted, Islam Makhachev's a monster. He's a beast. I think, personally, he is a guy that could do really well in the lightweight division. I think he has potential to beat a lot of those top guys in the lightweight division. I think he could potentially beat Justin Gaethje. However, when it comes to facing Oliveira, you're just counting on what you haven't seen yet. He's shown chinks in his armor. He's had his back taken by Thiago Moises. He has been dropped with a jab by Davy Ramos. And he's been finished before. One of the things that made Khabib so special was that the man had never lost, and he never really showed any weaknesses, never got dropped, never got hurt. And the truth is, Islam Makhachev has shown vulnerabilities. Okay, so we know he's not Khabib. We know he's not Khabib. He's shown vulnerabilities, but he's still been relatively dominant. However, Charles Oliveira, despite his 8 losses, is so special because he fights like he's got nothing to lose. He fights like he has no fear of losing. And when you're a man who's not afraid to lose because you've felt defeat many times before, it gives you a different kind of dangerous element in the octagon, especially when you're that well-rounded. If you give your back to Thiago Moises, you can maybe get out of it. You gave your back to Charlie Olives, there's no way. If you're getting dropped by Davy Ramos and you have a tendency to drop your hand when you get kicked to the body, Charlie Olives is falling over the top and probably putting you down. Oliveira is going to exploit a lot of these weaknesses, a guy that's been finished before, a guy who is scared of losing. I mean, Islam Makhachev does not take any risks in this fight. Islam Makhachev doesn't really take any risks. And that's something that makes him good. But against Charles Oliveira, you have to be able to go into that fire and you have to be able to think fast on the fly. I say things like, Charles Oliveira, we know what he can do. He's proven himself at the highest level. We know what he is capable of. A lot of people are just expecting Makhachev to just roll through Oliveira, and he hasn't really shown that he can really roll through anyone. As I said, he took Thiago Moises to the 4th round, Dober to the 3rd. These are guys that, the top lightweights are going to steamroll. And you're just kind of counting on Makhachev to go out there as this upgraded version that we've never seen before. This guy that has just grown leaps and bounds since his last fight. And I'm not convinced. So, I'm not entirely convinced. Maybe some of you guys are, but it's not going to be a good day for those that want him to win. I'm sorry. It's going to be quick. It's going to be rough. But, maybe Islam Makhachev can survive the first 3 rounds, maybe come out on top in the 3rd or 4th, and maybe But, maybe Islam Makhachev can survive the first few rounds and come out on top. But maybe Islam Makhachev survives the first 3 rounds. Maybe he can keep his composure. Maybe he can slip out of some submissions. Maybe he can keep it, clean. Oliveira's not fighting like a guy who wants a clean fight. Oliveira's going out there for the kill. He wants war, and that's what he's going for. Islam Makhachev is more of a sportsman. He is going there to win points. And if it works, man, got to give him props. If it works, if Islam Makhachev wins this, I got to give him props. I have to give him props because that's really impressive. I mean, if you're going to win on points and you're just going to pit-pat around and try to stall and, wait things out until it gets to the later rounds with Charles Oliveira, I mean, if you can stay safe, that's special. So if he wins, I'll be very impressed, for sure. And I don't know who would beat him if he wins, but Charles Oliveira is probably the most dangerous lightweight the world has ever seen. I mean, a guy with this kind of grappling, most submissions in UFC history, the most dangerous man on the ground in history. And then you're going in there with Makhachev, who is just, the last thing he wants is to get dropped. And that's the thing, like, what happens if he gets dropped? He's going to freak out. If Oliveira gets dropped, that's home. That's where he belongs. Like, he enjoys that aspect of the game. He's completely accepted that he may lose minutes. He may lose rounds. He's not going to win those battles. He's going to win the war. Islam Makhachev will win every single battle at the expense of losing the war. It's that last battle that Islam Makhachev might not win. And you give Charles Oliveira a battle, you just gave him the damn war. You give Islam Makhachev a battle. He wins a battle, the round's over. But Charles Oliveira, you give him a battle, night. So I am looking forward to this one. Again, if Islam Makhachev wins, I'll be very impressed, and that will be testament to how good he is and that he's the best lightweight in the world. We just haven't seen it yet.